Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. In this video I'd like to show you part 7 of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the Scheepjes Crochet Along 2018. It's been designed by Deirdre Uys from Look at What I Made. In part 7 we're going to be joining all the motifs that we've made up till now. So the diamonds and the half diamonds or the triangles, going to be joining them, and we're going to be making a start with the border. What's important for the join is that we're going to go up a hook size for the join, and when we go back to the border we go back to our original hook size. I'm using the Scheepjes Stonewashed XL yarn. That's with the large kit. If you have a different kit, you'll of course be using a different main color for this part, because everything we'll be doing with our main color. I'll take you step by step through the entire process of joining these motifs. It's maybe not so much difficult as it is just a lot of work, and I'm really going to try to take you through this systematically. So thank you for watching, and I really hope this is a useful video for you. I'm going to start by working the diamonds together. We're going to start with diamonds 1 and 6, so that's contrast color 1 and contrast color 6. For me it's this orange and the blue. Check your kits exactly which diamonds are which for you. I'm going to work 6 onto 1, and I'm going to do that with a 5.5mm hook with the XL yarn. So I'm going up a hook size. Now you also need to do that. Go up a hook size from whichever hook size you used to make your diamonds up to now. That's to give you more stretch and more flexibility on your join. So going up a hook size. We're going to start by taking the diamonds 1 and 6, and we're going to place them right sides facing. So I've got the right side of diamond 6 here. Oh sorry, this is diamond 1. The orange one is diamond 1 and the blue one is diamond 6. So I'm going to swap diamond 6 over and place it on top of diamond 1. And they have the right sides facing. Now it's very hard to get all this in front of the camera. We're going to start with the join here in the center. So I've got the two, this is the non-pointy corner. In there, I'm going to start with the join, and then we're going to work along this edge here to the pointy corner. So this I'm going to zoom in, and then we're going to start here. So to join the diamonds I have my main color on my hook. Okay, for me it's a 5.5mm hook going up a hook size. And we're going to start in the non-pointy corner, and we're going to work a standing double crochet through both chain corner spaces. So I've got them marked here with the stitch marker. So in there you're going to work a standing double crochet. So I'm just going to do that. So work a standing double crochet through both of those. I can now remove the stitch markers because I don't need them anymore. They were to mark my corner, so I couldn't lose them. And now that I've worked a double crochet through them, they're not going to go anywhere. I'm going to do a chain 1. And now work a double crochet through the next stitch. Now it's important to realize that the diamond that you have here to the front of you has the back side facing, and the other diamond, the one that's to the back here, has the front side facing. That means their stitches are oriented in different ways. If you look here at this stitch, this is the post, the top of it is, well, if you're coming from this side, it's before the post. And if you're looking at your diamond that's in front, if you're coming from this side, it's, if that's the stitch, the top of it is after the post. So that means coming here, working in the next stitch means if this is our chain 1 space, the next stitch here on the top diamond is after that post, so it's that stitch there. And here you're going to have to fold your work a bit. You see there's a chain 1 space where you're in, and then that there would be the next stitch to go in for the diamond that's behind. So you can see it looks like it's two different stitches, but actually it is the same stitch. This is the next stitch, and there that is the next stitch. And you'll notice if you do accidentally, for example, take this stitch here, that by the time you get to the other side you'll just have an offset of one stitch, and if that does happen, then just fudge that if it's not the end of the world. But I'm going to do my best to show you how we can do this without having to fudge. So we're going to go to the first stitch here on the front, so the next stitch, that's that one there, and then go here, here's the chain space, the next stitch is that one, and work the double crochet. So now you have a double crochet through both chain spaces, chain one, and then a double crochet in the first stitch. We're now going to start actually joining this edge. We're going to do chain one, skip a stitch, and then work a double crochet. That's what we're going to do to the next pointy corner. So we're going to do chain one, skip the next stitch, and then go to the stitch after. Do the same here to the back, so also there, skip one stitch and go to the next, and work a double crochet. This you're going to repeat till you're to the pointy corner. So chain one, skip the next stitch, skip the next stitch, and work the double. Again, chain one, skip the next stitch, go into the following, here skip a stitch, go into the following, and work the double crochet. You've now made a start on this edge, on the join. Continue here along, working every second stitch with the chain ones in between until you get here to the pointy corner. So I'll just see you when we're about here, and then I'll show you what to do in the corner and which diamond to put on next, and go around the corner again. Almost to the pointy corners. I have 4 stitches left on both sides before we get to the corner. So I'm going to work to repeat 2 more times. Chain 1, skip here the next stitch and go to the next, and also to the back, skip a stitch and then move to the next and work a double crochet. 2 stitches left, so it's chain 1, skip a stitch and go to the last stitch before the chain 1 here, and do the back, do the same, but it just so happens that my last stitch here is that chain 4, that starting stitch. So I'm just going to kind of push my hook in there somewhere. See, there's the stitch that I skipped, and then that there is somewhere is that last stitch, and then just bring my hook forward and complete the double crochet. We're now going to move to the chain corner spaces. First do a chain 1. Remember this chain 1, it's surprisingly easy to forget. And then through both corner spaces, both chain 1 corner spaces, work a double crochet. You can now remove stitch markers because I now know where those corners are. I don't need them anymore. I'm going to do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we can fold open our work and put our next diamond on top. I'm just going to zoom out so I can really show you where we're at. This is where we're at the moment. You've just done this join, and we're here at the top here with that chain 3 in the pointy corner of those 2 diamonds, diamond 5 and diamond 1. Merely opened up our work. Now you take diamond 5. So this is the diamond you made with contrast color 5. I'm going to place this on top of the diamond from color 1 with the right sides facing. So this is my diamond 5. I'm going to do my best to get this a bit in front of the camera. You can see what I'm doing, because it is all rather large. I've now got diamond 5. Back side is facing me because the front sides of these 2 diamonds are facing. Got them on top of one another like so, and then we're going to continue here in the pointy corners of diamond 1 and diamond 5. So I'm going to zoom in to this corner and then show you how to continue here. I've zoomed in. See, here's diamond 1 and I have diamond 5 on top of it. Chain 3, that's what we finished off with. And we're going to now work a double crochet through the corners of diamond 1 and 5. You see here I've still got it marked with the stitch marker. So in that corner and here to the next. Remember, you've already got a stitch in there, so that really pulls this corner open. Through both of them work a double crochet. You can take out the stitch marker, don't need it anymore because now I know where that corner is. Chain 1, remember this chain 1 here, and now we're going to do exactly the same on this edge as we did here on that first edge. So in the first stitch, and that is this one here, that's the first stitch, and in the back it's that loop there, the first stitch on both, and then complete the double. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, go into the next, here to the back, skip a stitch and go into the next, and complete the double. And this you're going to do until you're to the next corner, and that will be a non-pointy corner. So again, chain 1, skip a stitch, go to the next, skip a stitch, go to the next, and complete the double crochet. And what's important here is that you keep on skipping every second stitch, and then you'll make this join until you get to the non-pointy corner. Then I'll just see you there. I'm almost to our next non-pointy corner here. Going to have 4 stitches left. Chain 1, skipping this stitch and skipping 1 stitch to the back, and work a double crochet. Chain 1, skipping this one, work in the last stitch, and here skipping a stitch, work in the last stitch before the chain space, and work a double. Chain 1, and here in your chain corner space of both diamonds, go through both corner spaces and work a double crochet. At this point you can cut your yarn, open up this loop, you can remove these stitch markers and then just leave this fabric as it is for the moment. You now have half a hexagon. We've done this join and we've done this join on either side of the diamond 1. So this is where we are right now, with the join on either side. And you've got that chain 3 here right at the tip. Leave this for the moment, and now we're going to do the other half, and then we're going to join those 2 halves. The next 3 diamonds we're going to do in exactly the same way as the first 3. I'm not going to show you, but I am going to talk you through it. So I have here diamond 2, and this is diamond 3. I'm going to put diamond 2 on top of diamond 3 with the right sides facing. So I'm going to flip diamond 2 over on top of diamond 3, like so. Now I have them right sides facing. We're again going to start in the non-pointy corner, that's the corner here up top, and through both chain spaces start with a standing double crochet. Chain 1, then through the first stitch work a double crochet on both sides, chain 1, skip a stitch, then go to the next, work a double, chain 1, skip a stitch and work a double. Go all along this edge until you get here to the pointy corner. When you've worked a double crochet through both pointy corners, you do a chain 3, then you'll have done this edge, and then I'll just show you where you're at the moment and which how to put on the last diamond. When you've done this join, you'll have finished with a double crochet in that pointy corner and worked a chain 3. Just got a stitch marker in a chain 3 so that I don't lose it. This is where you are at the moment. Then open up your work, and then you've got these 2 diamonds connected with that join there in the center. Got diamond 3 facing me, and then you've got 1 diamond left. That is diamond number 4. For me it's this purple diamond. This diamond we're now going to place on diamond 3 with the right side facing. So I'm just going to flip it over. So I've got the back side facing me, and then position it on top of diamond 3. So I've got the right sides facing. And now we're going to continue again in this corner exactly the same way we've done before. So through the chain space here, I've got my finger through that chain space, also got the stitch marker in there, as well as in this chain space, work a double crochet, so joining those 2, and then work this edge exactly the same way we've done before, up till you get to here, the non-pointy corner. You'll finish with a double crochet through both of these no pointy corners, and then you can cut your yarn. And when we've done that, you'll have 2 halves. You'll have these 3 joined together, and then we can join the 2 halves. This is what you have at the moment. You've got 2 halves. This is 1 half, so I've got here the 3 diamonds that I've connected, and I've got another half exactly the same with those 3 diamonds that I've connected. What we're going to do is we're going to place these two halves on top of each other. You see, here's the straight edge that goes halfway through the blanket. That straight edge you're going to line up with this straight edge. So I'm going to put this one on top of my one that's at the bottom. And I'm going to have them in such a way that I have their right sides facing. So I'm placing them on top of one another like this. So I've got the back side facing me and the right sides are together. Now it doesn't matter if you have it like this or exactly the other way around, so that you have this side to the back, it doesn't matter. Now we're going to go to the side here, you see her on this straight edge, and we're going to start in this non-pointy corner. So I'm going to zoom in, and then we're going to start in this corner. Here at your non-pointy corner, the 2 sides on top of one another. This is on the right hand side if you're right-handed, on the left hand side if you're left-handed. Going to start with a standing double crochet through both of these chain loops. I still have the stitch markers in these positions, so I'm going to insert through both corners and then work a standing double crochet. You can remove the stitch markers, because at this point you don't need them anymore, because you now know exactly where that corner is. Chain 1, and then in the first stitch work a double crochet. This here is the first, on the other side that is the first. So this is exactly the same as what we did when joining the diagonals, or the diamonds I should say. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, and also to the back skip a stitch, go to the next and work a double crochet. You're going to continue this, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then work a double crochet. You're going to continue this until you get to the center. So I'm going to continue, and then I'll see you at the center of the blanket, where I'll show you just what to do there with when you get to the pointy corners. Almost here to the center. You see, here's the center where all your diamonds come together. You can just see them. You see the tips of your diamond there. I have 4 stitches left before I'm to the corner space here on these first 2 diamonds. So I'm just going to work this last bit. Just chain 1, just skip the next stitch, and then here skip a stitch, and then work the double crochet, chain 1, and the last one here skip a stitch. This is my last stitch before the chain 1 corner. Then on the other side skip that stitch, and then my last stitch here is this, happens to be a chain 4, and I'm just going to push my hook in there somewhere. There we go. and then bring it back up to work the double crochet. And because it's that chain 4, it just kind of tends to be stuck a bit. There we go. And then continue and complete the double crochet. Now to cross over to this side, we're going to do chain 1. Now work a single here in the single chain 1 spaces. In those chain 1 spaces, work a double crochet on both. So this is the first diamonds. Chain 1. Now in the center you have these chain 3 loops. Here's a chain 3 loop, and here on the back you've also got one, that one there. Through both of those chain 3 loops, work a double crochet. Chain 1. And then come to this side. And here again you've got the chain 1 loop, and there you've got a chain 1 corner. Through both of those, again work a double crochet. And now you're ready to, on this edge, do exactly the same what we've done before. So that's chain 1. In the first stitch, work a double. Now here the first stitch happens to be a chain 4. From the back it looks a little funny, but I'm just going to insert here in the top, and this is actually the slip stitch that I'm inserting in. And then the first stitch there is that one. Just grab your yarn and complete the double crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch, go to the next. Here skip a stitch, go to the next, and work the double. You're going to continue this till you're to the end, and I'll just show you the end just to be sure, but actually it's the same what we've done before. So continue this, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next, on both, tying this last edge together. Almost to the non-pointy corner on the other side. If you're right-handed, this is on the left. If you're left-handed, this is on the right side of your work. I have to work the repeat one more time. So here's the last stitch, and then that is the last stitch, and work double crochet. Chain 1, and in your corners, I've got them marked here with the stitch markers, work double crochet. Did I do a chain 1? Did I do a chain 1? I forgot. Yes, I did actually. See, I was just slightly unsure. But indeed, chain 1, and then complete with that last double crochet there. You can cut your yarn and pull through that yarn tail. You can remove the stitch markers, and now we're ready to connect the half diamonds to our work. We're now going to connect the half diamonds. Now those are these, oh it's from the back, these. You've got 6 of these, so we're going to join them in our blankets like this. So if you've got the diamonds here, this is how you're going to be joining them. So you're going to start by opening up your work. So you've got those 2 halves together, which you did, so open them up like this. And then we're going to start at the diamond that's furthest away from you, so here at the top of the blanket. That's where I'm right now, and this is my diamond here that's right at the top of my blanket. For me this is diamond 1. The half diamond we're going to join along this edge here, then here right up to the center there, and then we're going to join it here along the blue edge. That's the process that we're going to go through. So how we're going to start is we're going to take the half diamond and fold it over onto the full diamond with their right sides facing. Then we're going to start here in the pointy corner, come along, work this join until we're here to the center. Then we're going to open this up. It'll be joined there, of course, and then rotate this and fold it double again here on this side, and then we'll do that join. So that's how we're going to be doing this, and then when you open it up it'll be connected both here and there. So that's a process that we're going to go through. So if I just fold this open again, so this is diamond 1 I've got here. I've got a half diamond. I'm laying them on top of each other. On the right side of my diamond here, actually this is the left side, oh, I never know. Anyway, here on this side of the diamond, I'm going to put it up there like so, and then we're going to start in this pointy corner here. I'm zoomed into that pointy corner. You see here, this is the pointy corner of diamond 1, and this is that half diamond we have. Got main color on my hook. One thing to just note before we start, that you see the first stitch on actually the first stitch and the last stitch on the half diamond counts as a chain 1 space, because here you have a chain 1 space you can use for that first double crochet we're going to make, and here of course you don't really have a chain 1 space. So this first stitch, in this case it's a chain stitch, on the other side will be a full stitch. That's going to be the stitch that we, or the stitch that we use as though it's a chain space. So I'm going to start with the standing double crochet. So I've got here the first stitch. It's going to go to the top stitch there. So that's a stitch, and then here go through the chain space and start with the standing double crochet. Can I remove the stitch marker? Because I now know where that chain space is. I'm going to do exactly the same on this edge as what we've done with all the other edges up to now. So it's going to be a chain 1, then in the first stitch. Now this is the first stitch, and the other side, that there is the first stitch, and work a double crochet. Again, chain 1, skip the next stitch, skip the next stitch on both sides, and work a double crochet. Going to continue this until you get to the center. So that's going to be the point of the triangle and where the two diamonds meet up. So continue this, chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double until you get to the center, and then I'll just see you there. I'm almost to the point of the triangle. You see this is the chain corner space. I've marked that with a stitch marker when we made the triangles. I have 4 stitches left. See 4 stitches there, and here I've also got 4 stitches. That's stitch number 4, and this is the chain space from this diamond. So this is the non-pointy corner chain space from the diamond. So, but I need to do the repeat 2 more times. So that's chain 1, skip a stitch, and go to the next, skip a stitch, go to the next, and then work a double crochet. And once more, chain 1, here take the last stitch before the chain corner space, and also on this side skip that stitch and take the last stitch, and that next one is a chain 1 that goes with the corner, and work the last double crochet. Now I've done the entire edge here of the triangle. Chain 1, and then through the chain 1 corner space. Oh sorry, that's my cat, he's complaining. Don't know why, he's hungry. Through the chain 1 corner space of this triangle, and the chain 1 corner space here of the non-pointy corner of the first diamond you have there. Through both of them, I'm going to make a double crochet. Now I'm just going to remove the stitch marker because I don't need it anymore, and then work a double crochet. And there we go. What I'm going to do now is we need to fold our work. We need to rotate this triangle to go on the next edge here. I'm just going to zoom out and show you how to do that. Right, this is what we've just made. This was the stitch that we last made, that double crochet there. I'm just going to open up this loop, nothing accidentally happens to it. Okay, we've now done this join here, and we now want to rotate our work so that we can now do this join here. That's the goal. So that means we're going to flip this over and then align the triangle with, for what for me is here, the blue diamonds, right edge if you're right-handed. This will be the left edge if you're left-handed. Right-handed, this will be the right edge of the next diamond. So align these two. So that means you had to fold this diamond over and inward and align them here. And now I'll zoom in and we'll start again at this point and then work this edge. Okay, I've just flipped everything around and zoomed back in. We're now going to start by joining this edge here, so that's on the blue diamond. Start with a chain 1. I'm going to work a double crochet through the corner here from the triangle and the chain 1 corner from the non-pointy corner of the diamond. So that's that one back there, and that's that opening there. You've already got a stitch in there from the first join. So in that opening and this opening, I'm going to work a double crochet through both. So through there and then through that space and work a double crochet. Now we're going to join this entire edge exactly the same way we've done before. So chain 1, then go in the first stitch. This is the first stitch, and your first stitch here is in that one there, because that's the chain space, there where my fingers peeping through. There, that's the first stitch, and I need both loops, of course. The entire stitch. Come on, there we go. So that's the first stitch there, and complete the double crochet. And again, chain 1, skip a stitch, go to the next, here skip a stitch, go to the next, and work a double. Again, chain 1, skip a stitch, go to the next, skip a stitch, go to the next, and work a double. Continue this until you're to the pointy corner. So that's the end of this of this line. You've done this entire line. Then I'll just see you at the point, just to show you the last bit of joining. There's a skip a stitch in there, of joining this this edge. And also how to join the next triangle. I'm almost to the pointy corner of my diamond. I have 5 stitches left on the triangle, 4 stitches left on the diamond. Now don't stress, that's correct, because this last stitch, stitch number 5 here, counts as a corner stitch to join with the chain 1 corner space there. So don't stress that you've got a stitch extra, that's correct. I'm just going to finish the repeat here, skip a stitch and go to the next on both sides, then chain 1, skip a stitch here and go to this last full stitch there, and skip a stitch and take the last stitch there before the corner space. There we go. Now chain 1, and now we're going to work the corner. So that means through this stitch here and through the chain corner space, work a double crochet. You can remove the stitch marker. I'm just going to leave it for the moment because you'll need it in a second, because we're going to make a chain 1. And this stitch you need to mark, and it's very important that you mark this stitch, because this chain 1 is the corner of the border that we're going to be making. So that chain 1, you're going to have 6 marked chain 1s when you've completed all your triangles. So do that. It'll make life easier for you. Now we've done the complete repeat. We've joined this first triangle to 2 diamonds. Now we need to join the next triangle. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit just that you can see what I'm doing. So I've got here my next triangle, this one, my next one. I'm just going to flip it over and then place this along the edge of the diamond on the other side. And now you can start, you've got the back side facing, you've got the right sides of the work together again, so flip them together. And now we can start the join here. So I'm just going to zoom back in, show you how to do that join. Because this is actually, everything's going to be exactly the same as what you've already done. I'll just get you started. Because now you need to work a double crochet through the first stitch here, because remember this first stitch again counts as a corner. It's going to go through the first stitch and then go through the chain 1 corner space of the diamond, and be sure that you get the diamond there and not, for example, this triangle that you already have here. So go through the space of the diamond and complete that double crochet. And what you have here now is you've really got a corner there. You've got a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and that's why it's important to mark this chain 1, because you're not going to be able to find it later on. You're really going to have to go looking for it. So make life easy for yourself and mark that chain 1. Now this double crochet is exactly the same as a standing double crochet we started the process of joining these half diamonds with. I'll just get you started, but everything's going to be exactly the same. So it's a chain 1 and then go to the first stitch, and here again go to the first stitch and work a double crochet. Again, chain 1, go to the next stitch and work a double, and here again work a double. So everything we've already done, repeat that for this second new diamond, or half diamond I should say. You're going to do this 6 times in total then. So I've done 1 with you and a little bit on number 2. Repeat for 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then after you've done number 6, you're going to work that last double crochet, chain 1 you're going to mark, and then you're going to close on with a slip stitch to that first standing double crochet. But I'll just show you that last join when you're all the way around. For the moment, continue and join half diamonds 2 to 6, and I'll just see you for the last stitch. I'm almost round. I have 2 stitches and a chain here left. I have 2 stitches and there's a chain 1 space. And here is the standing double crochet that we started with, that very first one. And that one. So to finish here, chain 1, skip this stitch, go to the next, skip this stitch, go to the next, work a double crochet, chain 1, then through the chain stitch here, just pick up that stitch and the chain 1 space, that's the corner space of the diamond, work a double crochet. Now chain 1, remember this chain 1 and mark this chain 1 with a stitch marker, and now close on this first standing double crochet with a slip stitch. There we go. Now you're done. You can cut your yarn. Pull through, and when you open up your work, you'll have joined all your diamonds and all your triangles. I'm going to start the border. I have the main color yarn on my hook, and I've dropped back a hook size, so I've got a 5mm hook here, so go down a hook size. This is the hook size as you've used for all of your crochet work really. We only had the larger hook size for joining the motifs, so go back to your hook A. We're going to start in any chain 1 corner space. You have these stitch markers, you have 6 of them around your blanket. You can start in any corner. Actually, you've got 8 of them, I believe. Anyway, you've got these stitch markers. You can start in any chain space, doesn't matter which one you do. So in any chain space, 6 of them. Now you've got 6 of them. Okay, all confused. You start with a standing double treble. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and then in that chain space marked with the stitch marker, so in that space, start with a standing stitch. This is the first double treble. We're going to do a corner. We need 2 more in that same space. You can actually remove the stitch marker because now you know exactly where that is. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and 1 more. So you've got 3 double trebles here. Chain 2. Now this chain 2 is your new corner. You don't have to do this, but I've got the stitch marker here and I'm just going to mark this chain 2 corner. You'll be able to find that chain 2 corner, so you don't need to do this to find the corner, but if you want to, just take the stitch marker with you. Then in that same space we've already got the other 3 trebles, work 3 more double trebles. So you're going to have 6 double trebles with a chain 2 in the middle. There you go. So this is your new corner. 3 double trebles, chain 2 and 3 double trebles. You've got this now aligned to your pointy corner of the diamond. We're going to continue along the edge of a triangle. And what we're going to do is we're going to work, I'm just going to open up this loop, nothing happens to it. What we're going to do is in each chain, in each space here, and there, and there, and there, you're going to work 3 trebles. And you're going to do that 17 times. So all of those spaces, you're going to work 3 trebles. And these spaces don't all look the same, but they are all considered a space. So this first one here, work 3 trebles in there. And this is 2 and 3. Then this next one looks different. You can see this space looks different, but that's because you've got the end of the row, the beginning of a row, the end of the row, the beginning of the row, and that means these spaces don't look the same because you were turning your work. But that as such does not matter. What matters is that it is a space and you work 3 trebles in there. Just move my work a bit down, then you can see it better. Next space, this one, work 3 trebles. 1, 2, and 3 trebles. Next space is this one. Now don't get scared because it's a purple loop and not a main color loop. So 3 trebles in there, exactly the same way. And 3. I've now done 4 of these loops, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 17 in total. I'm going to make a jump in the video, but continue and work 1 in each of these loops. See, here's also one, there's one there and there. Here for me the red one, there's one here, an orange one, a green loop, and this one here will be number 17. You'll have, no, sorry, this will be number 17 here. There will be 1 loop left before the center of the triangle. So if you work all 17 loops, it will bring you here, and this is the point where I'll see you back for this one here. I've just done the last 3 trebles. I've now have 17 of these groups of 3 trebles. When you've got 17, you should have 1 loop left before the center here of your triangle. What we're going to do is in this loop we're going to work 4 trebles. We're going to skip the center here, and in the next loop on the other side also work 4 trebles. And then we're going to come back up and work 3 times or 3 trebles in each of the loops, and that will be 17 loops again. So it's nice and symmetric. But in this loop work 4 trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 trebles. Skipping the center, go to this next loop and again work 4 trebles. And you'll have a bit of a gap between all of these groups, but that's okay. This is like a baseline, this first round. So 4 trebles in both of those spaces. This space here is the first of 17 loops in which we're going to work 3 trebles. This one we work 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Come to the next loop, work 3 trebles. 2, 3. So I've now done 2 times with you. I'm going to do 17 in total, so you need to do 15 more, and that will bring you to your next corner. I have finished 17 times 3 trebles, and now you'll be here at your stitch marker at the chain 1 space. I'm going to work a new corner in that chain 1 space. It's going to be 3 times a double treble, chain 2, and another 3 times a double treble. So twice over in that chain space, work the double treble. That's 1, 2, and number 3, chain 2, and then actually I'm going to move this stitch marker now. I'm going to hook it onto this chain 2 space. You don't need to do that. You'll really be able to see these corners without the stitch marker. But I've got it here anyway, so I'm just going to mark that corner. And then in that chain 1 space there, 3 more double trebles. So that's 1, 2, and then this is number 3. This completes your corner. 3 double trebles, chain 2, and 3 more double trebles. This corner is exactly the same as the corner we started with. Here with the standing treble, but the first of 3, chain 2, and again 3 double trebles. So these 2 corners are exactly the same. That means everything we've just done, you're going to repeat once more. You're actually going to repeat 5 more times. So that means in this space you're going to work 3 trebles, then in that space, in that space, in that space, until you're to the center where you do 2 times 4 trebles, and then again 17 times 3 trebles in all those loops. And when you're all the way around in this last loop, you'll work 3 trebles in there, and then you close with a slip stitch on this first standing double treble. You close in there with a slip stitch, and then you've completed the first round of the border, and that is a base. So make sure your stitch count is correct after this round, and then we can build from here. Round 2 of the border. Currently with a slip stitch in that first standing stitch from round 1. going to move with a slip stitch to the chain 2 corner space. We've got 2 stitches, so I'm going to do 1 slip stitch and a second, and then slip stitch into the chain 2 corner space. This round I'm going to start with a chain 3. Now this chain 3 counts as a half treble and a chain 1. And to complete the corner we need another half treble in the same space. This is your new corner. It's a half treble, chain 1 and a half treble. I'm just going to move this stitch marker up. Not that I really need it, but it's there, so I'm just doing it anyway. On this first edge, you've got 6 edges. On the first edge we're going to do a back post double, a back post treble, not a back post double crochet, back post treble crochet on every stitch. So on every stitch you do a back post treble. So 1, and these will be 116 stitches, and that will bring you to the next corner space. And in there we do a half treble, chain 1 and a half treble, and that you're going to do all the way around. So this round isn't so much difficult as it is time consuming, because these back post trebles do take time, but it does give you a nice crisp edge, which is going to be the start of the Banksia border that we're doing. So this nice edge really is it's just a good part of the blanket to define that Banksia border. I'm going to leave you at this point, because you're going to work a back post treble on every stitch, and when you get to your next corner you're going to work a back post treble until the last stitch. When you get to your next chain 2 corner you work a half double, chain 1 and a half double. Go all the way around. When you get to this last stitch, close on the chain 2, because that's your first half treble, with a slip stitch. And when you've gone all the way around and you've joined with a slip stitch to your first stitch, you're finished for this week. Leave your yarn attached, because we're going to continue with the same color next week. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you back soon.